Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Agency Fast Track, our client acquisition and scaling family Monday mindset, where over the past 2 weeks, we have been doing a mini series called Best Year Ever. And this is the third in a 3-part series. Now, don't worry, if you missed parts 1 or 2, I will give you the opportunity to join a little mini course that I created around all of this, and you can have access to the replays, all the downloads, the resources, and conversation that happens around this. Plus, if you join that course, and again, it's absolutely free, throughout the year, we're going to do little special events to keep you guys motivated, make sure you're staying on track with your goals. So without further ado, Happy New Year, everyone. I hope everyone had an amazing holiday season, but now I hope you're ready to get to work. So let's talk about what we're going to discuss today in a quote. The key is not spending time. The key is in not spending time, but in investing it, by Mr. Stephen R. Covey. What does that mean? Well, essentially that when you spend time, think of it like burning money. So you can burn time. You can burn time just like money. Or like money, you can invest your time. And what happens when you invest money? Well, hopefully it multiplies. It works for you even when you're not working for it. The same idea I want you to think about with time investment. If you invest your time correctly, you're actually going to get double your return on that time investment. So let's talk about that today. That's what we're going to dive into. We've departed from how we normally do our Monday mindsets. Normally, I give you guys some motivation. We close it up and we're good. In these sessions, I actually encourage you to ask questions. I'll be monitoring the chat. I encourage you to, get clarification on what we're doing. And by all means, feel free to just comment and say whatever you need to say. So with that, let's keep going. I just have a couple of bullet points, and then I'm going to get right into the meat of the spreadsheet I promised you guys. So I want you to think about time being greater than money. You see, most of us strive to make money. In fact, it becomes an obsession with us. I know as an entrepreneur, many of us really seek after money because money is kind of the measure of how well we're doing. I challenge you in 2022, or in whatever year you happen to be watching this, if you're watching a replay down the road, I challenge you to think about time as being more important, more valuable than money. So here are a couple bullet points I want to discuss. First of all, we want to be using time. When we use time, we can reduce the hours we work. Seriously. And I'm going to show you why. If we use time correctly, we can literally reduce the number of hours we work. I used to work 70, 80 hours a week. And now I work 5 to 10 on my agency. And I get more done in those hours than I used to in 70 or 80 because I let time work for me. I want you guys to think about focusing on what's most important first. So this morning, hopefully you find this super important, and it's one of the first things you do is to get motivated on a Monday. But whatever it is, whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever your goals are for the day, figure out which one is the most important. Which one is the one that if you don't get it done, it's going to bug you overnight. It's going to bug you while you sleep. It's going to bug you the next day. That's the one you want to get to right away. I also encourage you to only do one thing at a time. We hear a lot about multitasking, and some people think that multitasking is literally a good thing. It's not. Honestly, the more I focus on one thing, the better the result and the quicker I get it done. I also encourage you in the new year to schedule your time. Schedule your time and the exact activities you want to achieve in that time block. And we're going to learn my time blocking technique here in a minute, something I call my power calendar. And then when you schedule your time, it's your time. Guard it like it's gold. Because in my opinion, It's much more valuable than gold. Time is something we can never get back. I can always make more money, but I can't make more time. Don't use time as an excuse. In my opinion, if you say I don't have time, you're literally saying I just don't want to do it. So don't use time as an excuse. And remember, only you can control your time. You. So when people say, hey, do you want to go do something? For instance, this morning, I was asked, hey, do you want to go to Cabela's? Yeah, I'd love to go to Cabela's. So I looked at my calendar and I said, this is when I can go. It would be easy to blow off other things or not do things that were on my time blocks, but I'm not going to do that, because when I actually get the things done I want to get done, then when I actually go off to do something fun, I don't have all that worry in my head. I don't have all that stress. I don't have all that, oh, I should have, or I could have, oh, I got to get back home and get this done. So only you can control your time. Guard it like it's gold. And then lastly, make time to schedule your time. Make time to schedule your time. It's weird to say that, but time is the number one resource that you have as an entrepreneur, the number one resource you have in your business, the number one resource that can help you work less, the number one resource that can help you make more money. Time is the most important thing you'll ever have to manage in your life. So let's talk about how I do that. And I've got an amazing spreadsheet that I'm going to give you guys, and it's already added. If you're in the course already, you can go there. You can see it right now. It's already up there, but I do ask you to pay attention. Let me show you how it works. Then you guys can play all you want with that particular spreadsheet. So with that in mind, I have something I call a power calendar. It's something I've done for at least a decade, and it's very popular right now. People call it time blocking. And you're seeing a lot, if you go out onto TikTok and you look up time blocking, if you go out onto, all the socials and you look up time blocking, you're going to see it's all the rage, but it's nothing new. Bucketing time is literally what helps me spend less time getting more things done. I know it sounds crazy, but just kind of stick with me for a minute and let me show you this amazing time blocking. And I made this a little nicer for you guys. I didn't usually do anything this nice. I would tend to, just do it in a regular old spreadsheet. But let me show you how the time blocking spreadsheet works. First and foremost, you can do this weekly, you can do this daily, you can do this monthly. Some people prefer to schedule big buckets of time and then not worry about what they do in each one. Other people might choose to schedule out every 15 or 30 or 60 minutes of your day. It's up to you how you use the tool. Now, I'm giving you an example of how I would use the tool. So first and foremost, what's my main goal today? Like, what's the most important thing that you need to accomplish, right? That you need to accomplish. And if you can accomplish that one thing, if you can get that one thing done, this is what would make you feel like your day went amazingly well. So I want you in this space to write that down. And if you so are inclined, I also want you to write down how it would make you feel at the end of the day if you actually accomplish these things. So here's an example I put. I would like to have my entire agency fast track revenue system funnel mapped out today. I also need to get my email up to date because I've been gone for a week, and loosely schedule next week tasks. If I could do this, it would take a great pressure off me, right? That has been weighing me down for weeks, getting this, AFTRS funnel mapped out. I really want to have a sales funnel mapped out. So that's my number one goal today. So what am I going to do? Well, the way I've structured this, and you can, again, do this however you want. You can change this accordingly. We give you the Excel file so you can make changes, do whatever. But I have, as you can see, I'm just going to scroll through real quick. We have 5 blocks of time throughout the day. And you might use all of them. You might use none of them. And then basically we're going to say, okay, block one, first thing in the morning from 7 to 9 a.m. What do I want to get done? Now, normally, just so you guys are aware, normally my 7 to 9 a.m. block is reserved for the things that I want to do for self-improvement. That's the time I usually read books. That's the time I usually take courses if I want to take a course. It's the time I watch videos if I want to watch videos about training or anything like that. That's what I normally use my 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. block for. But right now I'm sacrificing that block because I have some stuff I need to get done. And it's just weighing me down. It's bothering me. So I decided that for this week, I'm going to take my 7 to 9 a.m. block and I'm going to try to get things done. So I wrote in here my activity, create a lucid map for the funnel process. So I'm going to go into Lucid Chart. I'm going to create the map and map out what I want my funnel process to look like. And then at 9 o'clock, and by the way, I've already done this. This is a completed day for me. I'm showing you what a day would look like. At 9 o'clock, I come in here and I put my progress. Well, guess what? On this day, I actually completed the map. I finished it. So I put my progress in here, completed the overall map. And then I gave myself, I just colored my check mark. Instead of it being gray and light, I made it orange and bold. So I know that's my check mark to say I got it done. You can alternatively put an X in there. You can put a Y in there, put whatever you want. Now in block one, I had nothing else to do. Why would we have 4 spaces in here? You know, maybe you want to say from 7 to 7:30, I'm going to do this. From 7:30 to 8, I'm going to do this. From 8 to 8:30, I'm going to do this. From 8:30 to 9, I'm going to do this. Totally up to you how you want to bucket your time. I highly recommend you get hyper specific because then you use that bucket for what it is intended for. Don't steal. What do I mean by that? This is what I did on this particular day. I'm giving you a snapshot of one of my days. This is what I did from 7 to 9. I did not open email. I did not have Skype on. I did not answer my phone. Like right now, my phone's not even in the same room with me. That's the way I hyper focus on what I need to get done. And that's why I got done. I had no interruptions. I had no one bothering me. This is what was getting done. If you need to, put it on your calendar. Like literally put it on your calendar if you need to. Notice I also on every single block have a break. By taking breaks, it is proven that your mind refreshes itself. You're actually going to be more productive if you stop and take a break. So I've scheduled them in for myself. I hope you do the same. So notice my break one started at 9 and it went to 9:30. I'm too lazy to type 9:30, so I put 9.5, right? What am I going to do? Well, I told myself, take a walk in the yard, play Frisbee with my dogs. And did I do that? Yes, I did. On this particular day, I got it done. It might feel even a little foolish to you. It might seem weird to you doing this. Like, oh, I'm not going to come in here and check off a box, or I'm not going to come in here and write notes. I promise you, it works. Just try it. Try it before you knock it if this is giving you any kind of pause or reservation. And then at 9:30, no matter what's going on in this time period, this is if I want to go get a drink, I get a drink. If, whatever I need to do, I do. And then from 9:30 to 10, I had bucketed to go through email. And in a half hour's time, I was just going through it. I wasn't handling anything. I was just going through it, seeing what's there. Now, why do I do this? I like to go through my email to figure out what's most important, and then I'll come back and I'll deal with whatever I need to deal with. So on this day, I got all my email done. And then from 10 to 11:30, and again, I was coming back. This was last week, by the way. I was coming back from a short break. I wanted to get some of this stuff done. So I gave myself an hour and a half to handle any of the tasks from the email. And when I say handle, I mean complete it. Now, if completing means I've got to schedule time for myself to get an hour, a 2-hour, a 3-hour bucket to handle whatever is to handle, then that's handled if I've scheduled that time. Notice my note, all tasks handled or scheduled. And then same thing, we're going to scroll here, same thing. I had a break. Now I take a pretty sizable break for lunch if I can help it. I like to take an hour and a half every day. And so at 11:30 to 1 is typically my bucket for lunch. I go have lunch on my patio. Probably not today. It's 20 something degrees out, but I will often go have lunch on my patio. I will always go out and play with my dogs. And often I will take a walk. On this day, I took notes. I had lunch and I played with the pups, but there was no walk. I didn't take a walk for whatever reason. And it's okay not to do something that's on any part of your schedule, as long as if it's something that needs to happen, you're going to do those things. And you'll notice down here in break number 3, I did take the walk, but I didn't do it up here. So I come back from lunch, I'm refreshed, my brain, maybe during lunch, I was thinking about things I was going to do, and back to it. From 1 to 2, I started mapping email sequences for my funnel. And by the way, notice none of this is my agency. I don't work a lot of hours in my agency anymore. We can talk about that in the end, but this is all Agency Fast Track stuff. It's my new focus. It's what I do for most of my time these days. But I was mapping email sequences for my funnel. Boom, done. Got that done. From 2 to 3, I was writing my first email and I got it into Kajabi. Yep, brilliant. This is how I talk to myself, by the way. I give myself little affirmations. And then again, at 3, I don't know what I did here, but from 3 to 3:30, I don't know what I did on this day, because this says 3 and this says 3.5 to 4. So I'm missing a whole half hour in here. I'm sure I just worked farther into it. But if I were going to say, and keep this looking good, I'll do that for your example. But from 3:30 to 4 o'clock, again, I went out and played with my dogs and I took a walk. Now, why do I play with? A lot of people might say, Lisa, you play with your dogs a lot. 15 minutes of Frisbee and my dogs will be silent for 2 hours. They're tired. It's like kids or spouses. If you give them the attention and time they need, then they let you go get your work done. So it's not that I'm a great, wonderful dog owner, even though I am. It's really because I need them to be quiet and let me be so I can do what I need to do. So I go give them the attention they need and deserve. And then I did that. Now from 4 to 5, I finished up, and this was a long day for me. I don't always work this long on a day. And normally I have a lot of meeting time scheduled into my day. Unfortunately, or fortunately for me, I didn't schedule any meetings last week. So therefore I had plenty of hyper-focused time to get done what I want to get done. Now, a lot of people say, Lisa, didn't you take time off? Sure I did. But last week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I kind of worked really hard. And then Thursday, Friday, we took off. So from 4 to 5, I wrote a second email. I got it into Kajabi, done, but I wrote a note for myself, need to review it. So I need to go back and review it. 5 to 5:30, I was loosely scheduling tasks for my next day and throughout the week. So just making sure I knew what I was going to get done the rest of the week. And then 5:30 to 8, that's dinner, dogs, family time, that kind of thing. Now, oftentimes that's it. 5:30, I'm done. And unless I'm just screwing around on my computer at night, maybe I spend time with the family. I know during the break, I didn't do much work after 5:30. We'd play games at night or we'd watch movies. We were really enjoying ourselves and relaxing. But if you want to, there's this extra block. And from 8 to 9, I did decide to review and complete the second email for the funnel. And I got this done. I just wanted it off my plate. And then from 9 to 10, there was a couple videos I wanted to watch, personal stuff. So this isn't even work stuff. So literally I scheduled it from 9 to 10 while, I don't know, the TV was on or doing something. I put my earpiece in and I watched the videos I had wanted to do. So on this particular day, I was lucky. I got everything done. Every single thing I had planned on doing, I got done. And let me tell you, at the end of the day, it feels great. So right down here, how did your day go? Celebrate your wins today. And I tell you, use this space to celebrate your wins. Don't dwell on anything else. Don't dwell on what you didn't do. Don't dwell on negativity. In this case, I want you to celebrate. If you only got 1 out of 5 things done, great. I hope you did it well. So example, what a great day. Completed everything I set out to do, plus a few extra things. I also had a major breakthrough on my funnel, something that I added to my funnel that I wasn't thinking about that will really help students excel at a greater level. Love this day. Good job, Lisa. So I'm sending myself little notes even. Good job, Lisa. I do this stuff. I know it sounds really corny to do that, but if I don't pat myself on the back, who would, right? Who would? So I do that. Christy, what is the benefit and or purpose of blocking the time versus merely scheduling in time slots? It's technically the same thing, Christy, however you want to look at it. I tend to do the same things in the same buckets on a regular basis. So Christy, I know you were in Agency Fast Track X Success, and in there we do teach a lot about time bucketing. We go into this in greater detail. And as you know, I have very specific buckets. 7 to 9 a.m. is almost always reserved for me for personal growth, books, things like that, courses, training, things that I want personally to do. My morning bucket is almost always reserved for Portside Marketing stuff. In this case, I was on vacation last week, technically, so I didn't do any Portside Marketing. So I think the advantage is if you have big blocks of time, I will take the big block and say from this time to this time on a regular basis, I do these types of activities. From this time to this time on a regular basis, I do these type of activities, etc. Then I get granular in typing in here. Could you do the same thing? Sure. You can take a calendar that has 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and you can just write things in every single day if you want to. Totally up to you. The idea is simple though. You have to actually plan your day and then work your plan. Plan your day and give yourself no excuses to stay on track, right? If you need time in your bucket to answer phone calls, it should be in here. If you need time on your buckets to deal with email, it should be in here. Whatever it is that's going to distract you, there should be distraction time built in to your time bucketing, right? To this entire time blocking sequence. You should have something in here that says, maybe you got to schedule doctor's appointments on this particular day. So you put a half hour in there to schedule doctor's appointments. Maybe you have to, answer phone calls. Every day you have so many phone calls to answer. Put that in there. And then in the time period allotted, do what you say you're going to do. The hardest part to this entire process is not planning. It's not writing all this stuff down. It's actually following the plan you created for yourself. So the day before is typically when I'm blocking my time for the next day. And when I think about what I want to get done the next day, I've got big dreams and hopes. What happens when I get up the next day and maybe I don't feel so good? Maybe I'm not feeling good that day or I'm sick. Well, for me anyway, I tend to look at my bucket, and if there's anything, what will I call it? Recreational. If there's anything personal that, maybe instead of coming here and reading a book or doing whatever I normally do in this time, maybe I just need to get another hour sleep. Maybe I need to sleep in. Maybe I need to, do something like that. That's a major reason why I keep my 7 to 9 a.m. a personal bucket, because if I don't feel good, if I happen to be sick, if I happen to be tired, I can pretty much stay on track. This can, help pick me up or do whatever I need to do to get ready to start my buckets. Dale, do you have a separate calendar that you share with your team so that when you and Christine need to call a client together, you can see each other's schedule, or do you have that in Asana? Great question, Dale. We actually use a program to do all our calendaring in, and it's Acuity. And in that calendar, we can set it up to where the only calls that Christine and I tend to go on together are our project kickoff calls. On those particular calls, the calendar system checks both calendars, and it's only going to find blocks that are open. So again, this is not a normal week for me. This was a me on vacation day, but I wanted to use when I was doing it this day or whatever, I wanted to use a real example. But I technically will try to schedule most of my Portside stuff technically it's usually in the 9, to noon area. So those are the times I'll often have open and available for client type of stuff. That's why I bucket like this. And then the same with, if you've noticed, if you've tried to do one-on-one calls with me or schedule calls with me, there's only certain times I'm available because that was bucketed accordingly. So I only do agency fast track student calls in certain buckets on certain days. Now, notice in the calendar, I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever you guys wanted. You can come in here and you can say, okay, on a regular basis, on Mondays, I know I got to do X, Y, Z. So you block. Again, I would encourage you to do normal blocks on a regular basis. And then the day before, maybe you're filling in exactly what you're going to do in that block. So like I said, maybe block 1 starts at 9 a.m. and then goes to, on a regular basis, 11:30 a.m. And that's going to be, for me, maybe that's Portside tasks, right? Maybe that's Portside tasks from 9 to 11. Obviously, I have my 7 and 9 bucket. I'm just not putting it in here right now. And then maybe I have my 1 p.m. bucket that goes to, 4 p.m. And maybe that's my agency fast track bucket, right? So agency fast track tasks. If on a regular basis, you get used to that schedule, it's easier to help your team get used to your schedule. And then your customers know, okay, Lisa's usually available, this, or this day, that kind of thing. So that's kind of how I will do it. Again, Christine and I don't meet with clients together very often. And it's okay if I have to move something. So say something comes up last minute, I've got to meet in the afternoon here. I might rearrange my buckets or rearrange my calendar. What I don't do is just get up every day and go, what am I going to do today? That's what I don't do, right? That's what I don't do. I don't get up and say, I just don't do that. I know what I'm going to do every day. And I know what tasks I'm trying to get done. And I know the activities I'm trying to make happen. And what ends up happening is all the stuff that's not very important continues to get pushed farther and farther down. And I just don't do it because it's not important. Before I used to bucket like this, I would spend hours doing things that weren't important. And then by the end of the day, when I was exhausted, I only had 2 choices. I either had to suck it up and work more hours, which is often what I did, or the most important stuff fell through the cracks and didn't get done. Not a good way to live your life. And it will cause stress and undue, unneeded, suffering in your world. You don't want to do that. Get up every day, ask yourself what's the most important thing. And I've seen people do this bucketing exercise where, they've actually, I'm going to get rid of this stuff so that's clean for you guys. I've seen people where their 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or their whatever is bucket for the day. Maybe they don't want to do it the day before. Maybe you want to do it in the morning. It's okay. Schedule time to schedule time. There's nothing wrong with that. So just to recap, literally, this is an exercise that I've been doing for nearly a decade. I learned about it very quickly in my business. The very first year I was in business, I remember when we first started, I created forms and I spent time doing paperwork and I spent time making up this and making up that. I was doing everything except going out and finding clients. I had a bad habit of doing busy work, of doing things that weren't moving the needle, doing things that weren't driving revenue. Luckily, I'd always taken time for personal development and growth. That's something I've always done, taking courses, joining programs, joining masterminds, reading books, watching videos. I've always done that. And in doing so, I learned this technique. This is not something I made up. I might call it a PowerCal, which is different than what other people call it, but it's technically time blocking. And it helps me literally get more done in less time than most people. It is 10:30 in the morning and I've gotten more done today than many people will get done all day. And that's okay. You know why? because I got the most important stuff done already, which means even if I blow off the rest of the day, or if my day falls apart, or things happen, or if there's fires, I've already got the most important stuff done. And notice I come in here and I do things before I even check my email. I didn't even check email to 9:30 in the morning. Why? Because email can distract me. If I don't know there's a fire, I don't feel the need to go get the fire engine. I might not know it till 9:30, and in the big scheme of things, it's okay. Right? Nothing we do is life and death. Nothing we do is life and death. Everything can wait. All right. Hopefully you guys get the gist of this calendar system I use. In the first week, we really talked a lot about setting up our SMART goals. If you missed that, it's okay. We have this entire mini course. You can go sign up for it. I'll give you guys the link. You can go sign up for it. And when you do, you can go back and watch the week 1 replay. You can get that SMART goal in a worksheet, and you can do that exercise. In week 2, we took it a step further and really created all of our goals for 2022. We decided how much money we wanted to make. We decided how we were going to make that money. We really dug in and figured out what we wanted to have the best year ever. In doing so, the last piece to the puzzle, when people ask me, Lisa, if I had only 3 things to do to succeed, these are the 3 weeks. That's why I built these. These are the 3 things I would tell you to do. The last piece of the puzzle is then now we have to go get after it. We have to make those goals a reality by coming in here on a weekly basis, a daily basis, and getting things done that move us towards meeting those goals we had set out for ourselves in the last 2 weeks. So completely, this is a fast version. The 3 weeks we've just gone through, it's been a hyper fast version, kind of a small little subset of the first 2 weeks of our agency fast track program. If you are not in the agency fast track X success program, I highly encourage you to schedule a one-on-one call with me. We'll talk about that in a minute. But before I do, I'm not seeing any more questions. I want you guys, if you have any questions, whether it just be how to use the sheet or Lisa, what would you do? Please ask them in the chat. You're more than welcome to key up your mic as well if you just want to speak, things like that. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in. And while you're doing that, I'm going to jump back here to our PowerPoint. Okay, fits. How far in advance do you create the calendar and how often do you revisit it? Great questions, Fitz. First of all, I revisit it on a daily basis, but again, I use overarching time buckets. So for instance, like I had illustrated, my 7 to 9 pretty much always is, self-help, personal things, books, courses, etc. That's almost always what I do in the 7 to 9 block. The 9 to noon, I'm almost always focused on it, my Portside Marketing business, if I have anything to do in there. If I don't, I fill it in with the other stuff, I want to do. The afternoon, I'm almost always focused on agency fast track stuff. And then depending on the day, I take a lot of time off during the week and of course on the weekends. So a lot of times I'm done by 3 o'clock. But on a daily basis, I'll come in and decide exactly what I'm going to do that day and get it done. Now, do I use these exact sheets to get things done? No, I have my big overarching blocks, and then I use Asana to assign myself. I have a personal task, list, and I use Asana to get a lot of my stuff scheduled out for myself. It's very rare I would print something out like this and write it by hand. So I don't actually use this spreadsheet as much as the other 2. So in week 2, that plan, that worksheet, man, that's all filled out for me. I definitely follow that. I revisit this stuff minimally weekly. I want to look at my goals weekly. I want to remind myself where I want to be. I want to know exactly where I am. I mean, I hate to tell you guys, it's already January 3rd, right? There's 3 days gone from 365. It goes quick. So by reviewing things on a regular basis, Fitz, I would review what you need to get done every single day. My biggest tip is every single day, ask yourself, what is the one thing that if I get done today, everything else wouldn't matter? Sure, I would like to get more than one thing done, but right now I just got up, I'm raring to go in my Portside Marketing bucket. What's the one thing I need to get done today? I do that thing first. I want that off my plate. I want that monkey off my back, so to speak. Then when I get that done, I literally usually know what the next thing is because I already have a list of things to do. I keep my things to do, my tasks in a list in the order of importance if I can help it. Now, I also have other factors and I have other people. For instance, Christine assigns me things all the time. Christine will assign me things and ask me to look at things or ask my opinion on things. Again, I'm going to do that in the bucket that's appropriate for that. If she asks me something at 2 p.m, I might not get back to it to the next day. Why? Because I don't deal with Portside Marketing stuff very much in the afternoon. It just depends what I'm doing, but I use my time wisely. Like every minute of every day, I don't dawdle. If I find myself going down the YouTube, like, oh, somebody sent me this, the minute I recognize I've drifted, I turn it off. I stop. Mental note, stop. Go back to what you should have been doing. And it's easy to get distracted in today's world, isn't it? YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. The easiest way not to get distracted is I don't go out there unless it's in a bucket of time in which I'm supposed to go out there. And then I try to go out there for a very specific thing, get it done and get out. Right? Nothing wrong with playing around on YouTube, nothing wrong with watching TikTok or any of that. I do all that stuff, but it's usually done in the bucket of time that's assigned for it. And those kind of things are either first thing in the morning or late at night. That's for me. So great question, Fitz. I tend to bucket my time on a normal basis. And then probably the day of or the day before, I will go in and put in particulars and what I'm trying to get done that day. And then I revisit it. I'd probably say my calendar, I revisit daily. My tasks, I revisit daily. I don't like overwhelm, so I try to get as much done as possible, but I have to remind myself the most important stuff first. It's so tempting to, oh, I could get these 5 things done and get 5 things off that list, or I can get 1 thing done. It's tempting to try to get the 5, but they're not the most important. So they got to stay, and I got to do the big chunk, the most important thing. And this quote is apt, and I'll answer any more questions you guys have. This quote is so aptly, put here. Use your time wisely. Time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. Once you've lost it, you can never get it back. It's that last one we always, get stung by, right? You do something, you go down, a rabbit hole. 2 hours later, you think to yourself, man, I wish I never did this. I wish I didn't go down this rabbit hole. Because once you've lost the time, you can't get it back, right? So spend it wisely. Use your time wisely. Okay, that's what I have for you guys today. I do try to keep the Monday mindsets, even in these special sessions, short. I'll answer any questions you have. Before I answer any more questions, I do want to point out, if you are not in an agency fast track program, you should give it a try. You should at least schedule a strategy call with me. They're absolutely free. I'm not there trying to sell you anything or push you into anything. I'm pretty casual. Most people will tell you. I will tell you about our programs at the end of our call if you want me to. If you don't, it's still a free strategy call. What do we talk about on that call? Well, we'll talk about where you want to be a year from now. And then we'll talk about what it's going to take to get there. And then if we have a program that you could join that would really fast track your agency, hence Agency Fast Track, then of course, I'll mention that program to you. We are starting a new year. We have X Success starting next week. So we have a brand new version of our X Success course starting next week. So if you're not in that course, you probably want to schedule a strategy call with me this week or early next week. You can do so by either emailing me at lisa@aftxs.com or you can Skype me at Portside MKT. If you happen to be watching a replay, if you happen to be on YouTube and you see this video, I encourage you to reach out to me. Strategy calls are always free and they're always with me. I don't send anyone else to do those. And we will talk about your business, see where you're at, and see how we can help you. Our programs are affordable, and frankly, they will make you money in the end because we do this kind of stuff, right? Nothing is left to chance in my agency or in my world, and I show you guys how to do that. So I'm going to end asking once again, I don't see any more questions, but just in case, last call. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat or key up your mic and ask your question. While you guys are doing that, I am going to, in the chat before we leave. So I don't have it pulled up. So after I end this call, hang out a minute if you want the link to join the course. I will get that and put it in there after we end the call. Thank you, Dale. Happy New Year to you as well. I am very excited for 2022. I have lofty goals, both for my agency and for Agency Fast Track. I have lofty goals for myself and for all of you guys. So love that I'm seeing a lot of names here. I'm looking, a lot of you guys are already in a fast track program. I know you guys are having amazing results. I'm also looking, by the way, for a couple of hot seats. If you guys are having some results, if you're getting some success or you've just had some breakthroughs, let me know. I want to get you on a hot seat in our Monday Mindsets coming up. Okay, fantastic. I'm not seeing any. Oh, one more question. Bethany, tips for those of us who have inconsistent schedules. Bethany, here's what I would tell you. I know your schedule and I know what you're talking about. What I would tell you is this. I would have buckets like created, like this is the stuff I want to get done, and don't put the time on it until you know you have that time available. Meaning, because you're inconsistent, it just might be, here are 12 buckets I want to get done this week with these things. And then as you figure out your schedule, then you can slip those buckets into a time slot. In other words, you're not going to have the 9 to 5 schedule you can always do. So instead, maybe it's, here's these buckets that every single week I'm trying to fit in. And on really hyper busy weeks, maybe you get 5 out of 7 done. On great weeks, maybe you get 7 out of 7 done, however many buckets you have. But that's how I would probably handle it. Know what you want to get done. And then when you know your schedule, if you, okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I've got to travel, but then I'm going to be in a hotel, Thursday and Friday, maybe Thursday night, you're doing bucketed stuff. Believe it or not, before I started my agency, I used to do this on the side, like many of you guys. The reason I started doing that is I used to travel all the time. I was in hotels Monday through Friday, almost every single week of the year. And I got tired of just sitting around doing nothing. And that's what I started doing. I started doing my work at night while sitting in a hotel for fun on the side, and made a ton of money, and it became this agency eventually. So you can figure it out. You just got to make sure, I would say, that you know what you want to get done in a particular week, realistically, with what hours you're going to have. And then when you have a down week, you can always borrow from, some of the stuff that you have planned ahead. So that's what I would do. Hopefully that helps. If not, reach out, Bethany. You know how to find me. Okay, last call for questions. Terry, you're very welcome. Terry said, thank you for your time sharing this morning. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you guys. I love sharing this stuff. Let's be honest, I was not a great business owner. I was not a great business person. I stumbled, I fell, I picked myself back up. I learned a lot, and I just tend to want to share that with you guys. Why? Because I'm no different than you. I struggled in my agency, and sometimes I still do. It's what's called life. And when we share it together and we come together like this and we help one another, we all can do better together. So hopefully you have an amazing 2022 plan. If you've missed the sessions, like I said, you can go watch the replays. You still have the opportunity to get the sheets. We're going to have that course for everyone who gets in it for a limited time. It's going to stay there for you. We're going to add some stuff to it. We're probably going to close the course for free membership, and then it's going to become one of my lead magnets, and I'm going to go ahead and sell it, probably not for a lot, but it's going to be sold. You guys get it absolutely free. And I'm going to check in with you guys during the year. Now, I've asked you to fill out some of these sheets. Go put them in the client acquisition and scaling Facebook group. Send them to me in email, send them to me by Skype. I've had some people send me theirs. I've looked at them. I've made some comments. I've given feedback. Happy to do that for you. Send them our way. Fantastic. Great to start the new year with this great system. Thank you, Lisa. You're welcome, David. Anything I can do to help you guys, let me know. All right, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and call it. Have a phenomenal week, everyone. Happy New Year. Thank you for being a part of the Agency Fast Track family. I love every single one of you guys, even the guys I don't know yet. Introduce yourself, reach out to me. We're here to help you.